Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. So today's plan I yeah so today's plan is to code a market analysis dashboard for trading. So just to explain to you guys, what we've prepared in the last weeks is an analysis on Bitcoin, and as I've mentioned, we are going to invest in Bitcoin in October. And so here is the actual analysis. So let me just quickly recap what it's about. So we made an analysis by month for the past 10 years on Bitcoin. And what we have found out is that Bitcoin for the past 10 years has been going up 8 out of 10 times, right? So we see that, let me just refresh all of the data here. So this is actually July, but what we're trying to look at is October, right? So October, if you look at this chart, right, we see that October has been profitable 8 out of 10 times. And for that reason, because now it's the 23rd of September, we're preparing to open a Bitcoin trade. What you can also see here is that we might open a trade in November and December. So we might be looking into like a longer term trade. So maybe what we're going to do is open a long position Bitcoin and close it at the end of the month, and maybe keep part of the position until the end of the year, right? What we see in January is that Bitcoin tends to drop in January. So for that reason, I'm not going to hold it over, after New Year's. And here is the relevant backtest, right? So I've backtested a very simple strategy, holding Bitcoin for 30 days in October, and this is what it looks like over the past 10 years. So until then, we have a lot of time. So I was thinking that maybe we could create a market analysis dashboard that is able to analyze, the gain by month. But what it's going to do is not only analyze Bitcoin, but it also allows us to invest in other currencies as well, right? So I'm gonna test in Forex, on indices, on commodities. And this would be a great tool that also you could use in the future to look for trading opportunities. And so we're going to code an application dash. So I've prepared a content plan for this month. So we're going to create a market analysis dashboard for trading. And also, after we are done done with that, we will code a trading bot that will schedule our trade, and yeah, that's pretty much the plan. Right. So I guess we can just dive into it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new directory called Market Analysis Dashboard. And in this directory, I'm going to create a file that is called app. Marpos24, nice to see you on stream. Thanks. And by the way, thank you for joining the YouTube membership. I appreciate it a lot. And thank you for also helping in the help section in Discord. So I really appreciate your contribution. And yeah, great to have you here. So let's create our Python file. And so we're going to import dash. So from dash import dash. And you guys probably already know, those who watch my stream, I really like to code dashboard applications, because most of my analysis is done not, just by looking through indicators and backtests, but actually trying to find some patterns in the financial markets, and then building some backtests and hypotheses based on that. So based on what I've shown in Bitcoin, we're going to also look for opportunities in other markets using that dashboard. And instead of me using notebooks, I wanted to create an application that you also can access. So I will also share this app on my website once it is done, so we all have the opportunity to make this analysis together. So app is equal to dash name, and just by running app.run, right, we created a very simple web server. So just a quick example, if we set the app.layout is equal to, and we're going to import some HTML components. So this is html.div, and let's just create a very simple, heading h1 So I'm gonna call this market analysis app. So of course, you guys might also see some update about the MT profit today, right? So last week I made some losses. I was testing a strategy. Unfortunately, I lost something around $200, but I'll keep you guys updated. And yeah, at least we're still in profit. So hopefully we're gonna stay in the green numbers. Hello Mo. Thanks for asking. How am I? I'm doing great. So, after my tooth extraction, I was very tired. I had a lot of toothache, but I feel good now, and I'm really happy to be streaming now. So, yeah, where were we? So now let's run this app. All right, so this is our application, and you guys know that I like to use dark mode. So I'm going to import Bootstrap. So import dash Bootstrap components as DBC, and I like to use dark mode. So external style sheets is equal to DBC themes dot darkly, right? So this is my favorite layout, and yeah. So let's see what the issue is. External style sheets. Well, it seems that there's an issue, and it's a new one. Oh, of course. Stupid me. We're supposed to put it up here. Okay, dark mode is ready. We're good. Let's just quickly add, maybe some margin on the left and upper side. And actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy some settings from my previous application, right? So here, I've coded some account dashboards in the past, and here, let's just copy the setting here so don't waste too much time on creating the app. So here, this is going to be our basic layout for the market analysis app. So we run this. Mo, you asked a question. Do you use any extension for coding? Well, I just use PyCharm, and I think PyCharm comes with a great tool. It uses some autocomplete for coding, and yeah, I don't think I use anything else. PyCharm is great so far. I use the professional, by the way, but the free version is also really good if you're just starting out. And I've been using it like for past 4 years already, right? So this is the first IDE I've tried, and I've liked it ever since. So no complaints on my side. Okay. Yeah, so I just imported that. Let's quickly see at the changes. Let's refresh, and now we have the margins ready here. So for the market analysis dashboard, what we'll need is some input, right? So let's just add a dbc.input, and here we will input some data. So I call this ID is equal to symbol input, right? So again, let's refresh this and refresh this. And here we can add anything, right? BTC, USD, for example, or Euro USD, we can use this input for whatever we want. Let's just make it a bit smaller. So here I can specify the width of the app. So width is, oh, actually I have to use style is equal to, and here I can specify width is equal to, let's say 250 pixels should be enough for this. They can ask a question. Hi, bro, would you make this code available for us to use? Yes, of course. So where I'm coding right now is a publicly available project on GitHub. So if you click on on the description on my live stream, right, I have a GitHub page where you can access the code. So we can go to atjtraders.com/join, for example. And if you go to my website, here's the link to my GitHub page, or just click there. I think there should be a direct link in the descriptions. So everything I'm doing today will be shared on this repository here. And if you go to the folder streams, in streams, you will find the relevant files for today, and I haven't committed it yet, so for today's date you should be able to find the files. And if you want to check the historical streams, right, you will find all the code for my past streams as well. So yeah, feel free to check it out. And of course, by the way, guys, I have a new project going on. Maybe I should provide update when it's ready, but just to excite you guys a bit, I have a new project called Trading Labs, and there I'm going to share all the code publicly hosted. So all the web applications that I'm working on right now will be available there. So once this is ready, I'll let you know. My new course I'm working on will be there too. So it will be a website purely dedicated for the applications that we create here at ATJ Traders. Okay, the width I tried to update to 250 pixels. So again, let's try to refresh, and now, yeah, this input is now a bit smaller. So this is, made for the symbol input. All right, next thing, what we want to do, let me just use a separator here. I like to do that. It's just, design choice. So HR is just a separator. And here I can also add dbc.label just to specify what this label will be used for. So this label we're going to call symbol input, or just symbol. I think this should be good enough. So I'll refresh. Let's have a look at it again. And here we have our label symbol. So now we can just add anything we want. So the last thing that we will need is a button, right? So here let's add a button. So dbc.button, and let's just give it an ID. See that? So my PyCharm just added some autocomplete, and I just missed that because I clicked away. By the way, guys, if you know how to ask for an autocomplete, usually when I delete and start something new, maybe the autocomplete should show up again, but not this time. So here I will just call this button submit, right? And then the ID of this will be submit button, right? So this is how you call these things. And now we have all things that we need for creating a web app. So here we have that. It looks kind of ugly, so let's just align these things, right? So to align these things. I'm not really good at CSS and designing nice looking apps. I think this is the most annoying things when it comes to creating web applications. But making something very clean and nice and it's simple, shouldn't be too difficult. Maybe I have some already ready-made code, and actually I do. So I'm just gonna copy some default layouts from my old application that I've created, and I'm going to share that with you. So here I have these labels, and what we can do is just use display inline block, right? So this is the CSS property to align these things in the same row. And so let's go back here. I just copied from my other project. So here with the symbol input or label, we can add style is equal to, and here we just provide a dictionary with display inline block, and we can also add this property in the input. So hopefully that will align all our components in our Dash application. So now we go for another refresh, and now we see everything is nicely aligned. Yeah, this button is a bit off, but hopefully Those of you of OCD, please ignore that. We're gonna fix that, you know, as the last step. Our main objective is to make a working application first of all. So so this is our input. I know what I'm actually changing my mind. This actually does irritate me a bit, so this is not too much work, I hope. So what we can do is we can just provide a margin on the left side. So again, what we can do is we can here add a margin on the left side. And the button is a bit off, so I'm going to also provide a margin top for the button, right? So style is equal to, let's add margin top minus 3 pixels. Let's try to run this again. And yeah, it actually wasn't that bad, I assume, right? So we moved a bit, you know, added some space here, and we moved the button up here. All right, so now we have our input component ready. And what we want to do now is, you know, generate the action analysis, right? So what we need is, you know, write a callback function so that we'll accept the symbol name as the input and return an analysis that looks something like this, right? Like something like this with this chart. And maybe what we could do is we could also implement a backtester, right? So maybe we can just, you know, create an app, you know, select this symbol, make a backtest for this and that, and it will return a P&L curve as well. So that would be interesting, right? But let's just start with the first one and see where we get, and later we can see if we'll have time to implement the other thing. Okay, so this is done. Now we have to create a callback function. So let's do app.callback. And so we want to create another div component here. So html.div. And this div component will have the ID, let's call it output container, or actually I prefer just symbol to be more specific, symbol analysis div, right? Something like that. So this is our output of that. So simple analysis div, we want to output children. Of course, we need to import output, input, and state from dash to work with callbacks. And here the input of this is our button. So it's our submit button. And we want to listen to the click events, right? So it's the property and clicks. And then for a state value, so when we click on the button, we want to see, you know, check the value of our input here. So what symbol we actually want to analyze. So this is our symbol input, and the property of this, we just want the string value, or in dash we specify the value, and then we are done. So now we have specified the callback properties, and now let's just create a function that will, you know, process the data. So here we want to define a function, and I will call it analyze symbol, right? And this function will take the symbol input as you know, as an input. So actually the n clicks and then the value, right? So I think I have an error with the brackets here, so I think that I have to close the brackets here. Okay, yeah, now it's working. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to print n clicks and value, and let's see what this function will return, right? So let's restart this, restart or refresh our app, just make sure. And let's say I type EURUSD and press submit, right? So let's check if it's doing something with our on the back end, right? So we see that whenever I press button, it will print out, the number of times the button has been clicked and also the symbol. So this is great because now we can connect to MetaTrader 5, retrieve historical data, do some symbol analysis, and then output that analysis onto our market analysis app, right? So now that we have, the input that we need to create a function that will do the analysis, right? And to do that, as I mentioned, we need to connect to MetaTrader 5 to retrieve the data. So here, as part of that, we will need to initialize MT5, so MT5.initialize. And for this, I will need to import MT5, so import MetaTrader 5 as MT5. So now we have our MT5 imported. This will connect to my Tickmill platform, right? So this is my Tickmill MT5 platform, and we will connect to this platform to retrieve the OHLC data. So now that we're connected, right? So I can also check if it's connected. So connected is equal to MT5 initialize, and just to visualize it, so we can print connected. And if we are connected, the output of this function should return true, right? So if I refresh this, so check here, connected is true, or just to be more specific, connected to MT5, right? So let's restart it again. And here we see connected to MT5 is true. Okay, so now we're connected to MT5, and the rest is actually kind of easy because we already have a Jupyter notebook where we've coded the entire logic, and I'm just going to copy, the logic here to make the analysis. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to copy the code. Let me just close some windows, so so I can just switch between the notebook and the analysis app. So I'm going to create a function, and this function will analyze the symbol, right? So actually, you know what? Let's call this other function analyze symbol, right? And this we will I will call it serve analysis page, right? Because it's actually serving something, and I will call this function analyze symbol, and we'll take the symbol as the input of the function. So here I am just going to code, the code that I'm using to do the analysis. Here and I will explain, line by line what it's doing. But first, I just want to, copy all of that, copy this, and then I will copy this. All right, so just a quick walkthrough what this analysis is doing. So again, this analysis is analyzing price behaviors on Bitcoin, but it can be used for any symbol by month to see which month tends to be, tend to go up, or which month tends to go down. And here we have specified symbol is equal to Bitcoin. We're exporting the daily OHLC candles from MetaTrader 5, and we're requesting data from 10 years ago until today, right? So we have a 10-year data set on Bitcoin. So with this function, get OHLC history, it's a function that is part of the ATJ trading package, right? So this function returns the OHLC data, and this table here is the output. So we have open, high, low, close, and so on. And additional columns that we're calculating is the gain, right? So we're computing gain for each month. So for example, it's 1st of October and 1st of November. So what is the gain when from the 1st of October to 1st of November? And the gain is actually the shift -1 minus the open price, right? So this is what's doing. And here I'm computing the percentage gain. So it's basically just a percentage representation of the gain. And I've also computed the month and the year to do some group by operations, because now if you look at the gain by month and we use the group by operation to compute the sum of percentage gain, we will get a table looking like this. And if we visualize it in a bar chart, we can see, which months tend to be winning or losing for Bitcoin. So January, for example, tends to go a bit more down. February, for example, would be a good time to invest into Bitcoin. And then maybe, July, October, and maybe November and December, right? So this is the analysis we want to get, and maybe we can apply this on lower time frames or some other symbols. All of that is possible. Great, so I have copied everything I need, and here I just need to import some additional libraries. So from datetime, import datetime and time delta. This is what we're going to need for this analysis. So down here we have that. We will also need get OHS history and Plotly Express for the visualization. So from ATJ Trading dot backtester import get OHS history. So and from Plotly Express import actually plotly.express as px. So here I am importing the charting library, and so this function is just just a quick it's basically the same function or that I'm performing on this notebook, and the output of that is a figure, right? Or actually what I want to output is also a table. So I'm going to return a table and a figure. So return gain by month and the chart. And in this callback, I can actually now use this function, right, to evaluate the symbol. So if if n clicks is greater 0, or in this case we can just say if n clicks and value, so I need to check if both values are present, I will evaluate, do the analysis, right? So the value here is this value. I can actually name this the symbol because I know it is a symbol input. And here I will input a symbol. And I know that, the output of this is a data frame and then a figure, right? So df comma fig is equal to analyze symbol, right? This is the return of my function. So just to specify what kind of data frame it is, so once the code is a bit bigger, larger, so I don't get lost in what I'm typing. So gain by month data frame, and our figure is basically the output of this function. And now I can return, as part of this callback, I can return this figure and this table, right? So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dash table, right? So I'm going to need to import dash table as well. And this dash table is just a table that I can display in my application right here. So here table is equal to, and I'm just going to copy a quick code snippet. So let's see where I have tables. All right. I'm still looking for it. When it comes to dash tables, I always forget the syntax, or more like I'm lazy. So for me, it's always faster to just copy it from some previous applications that I have. So here I just found it. So table is dash table is dashed into the data table, and I just need to input the data frame that I'm working with, right? So I just need to provide data and the name of the columns. So now I can return dcc.graph. So DCC is a dashcore component that is able to render plotted figures and display a graph on our web application. So I will also need to import DCC from dash. So this is graph, and by passing the argument figure, we can now generate a chart on our web app. And we're also going to return our table. So let's see if this application works. So now I'm going to restart this application. I'm going to refresh this, and now I'm going to add BTC USD, right? So I'm running this, and we see that the app works. Here we just see, some styling issues, but I'm going to fix that real quick. But we can see that the graph here works quite nicely. So this is great because now we can use this for our app. So let me just quickly fix the issue with the styling of the table here. By default, the table is white, and because I'm using plotted darkly, the table needs to be adjusted according to that. And to fix that, what I can do is I can just provide a quick style, right? So here in the analysis dashboard, if we just, add another, argument style cell and set the background color to black, I believe that that should work. And here I forgot to add this curly bracket. So let me just align this. So let's click reformat, and let's now run this. Great. So I'm going to refresh the app now. So again, BTC USD, we submit, and here is the output. So here's our chart, here is our table, and this is exactly what we wanted to see, right? So here we have some data with the percentage gain for every month. I guess I could round that to make it look a bit nicer, but this is actually the thing that we tried to code today. So with that, let's have a look at other symbols, right? So it's my calendar. So guys, by the way, it's not financial advice, right? So make your own analysis. Everyone's responsible for your own trades. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest in Bitcoin in October. And I believe that there is some form of trading edge if we do that. So what symbols are interesting for you guys? If you have any requests for an analysis, just type in the chat and I'll be very happy to run it through. For me, let's, for example, start with the S&P 500, right? So it's US 500 on Tickmill, I believe. So let's submit S&P 500, and I believe that it's wrong. I need to enable it in the MetaTrader 5 Market Watch. By the way, guys, so what you need to do when you also work with MetaTrader 5 is if you want to request some data, it's a good idea to enable the symbols in the Market Watch, and that way you subscribe to the data feed. So if you also do show all, for example, I've enabled all the data here. And now if I run this again, hopefully that should work. All right, let me see if there's an issue. So here we have US 500, and it seems that the app is not working, so I still need to figure out what might be the issue. And I think I found the issue. The problem with the app is that it's not taking the symbol as an input, but I've defined statically. So here now this should update dynamically based on the symbol input. I'll run this. All right, so SP 500 for the past 10 years. Almost every month has been profitable in July. That's interesting. September seems to be losing. October slightly profit, but I won't trade that. But November is very interesting, right? Every month for the past 10 years for the S&P 500 has been profitable. So maybe if you want to start investing in S&P 500, November might be a good month. Again, no financial advice, but I think I should put that on the stream, right? There will always be someone who will listen to my advice and then blame me for that. That happens quite often, but I assume that you guys who are watching are a bit more responsible than that. Anyways, Nicolin wanted to have an XUSD analysis, right? So let's type in XUSD. Would you guys be interested if I share this app online so you don't have to even code it? I think it would be a great addition to our apps that you could access yourself. So I believe, yeah, that would be great for you guys to use. So gold, gold seems to rally a lot in January and December, right? So maybe this is like a 2-month swing trade. That would be very interesting. Only problem with gold is that brokers they charge swaps, right? So overnight fees on XUSD. So when we check XUSD as a symbol, let me just hide everything, and now we add XUSD. What brokers do is they charge overnight fees for gold, and that is basically, a fee. So if you hold one contract on gold, they will charge you 32 USD every day. But if you short gold, that would, make money. So if you hold it for 60 days, you would pay $900 fee just for holding a position, and that's very normal, right? So this is basically what you get for trading with margin. So whenever you trade with margin, you're basically borrowing the broker's money, and as a result, you are in, you basically have to pay, these swap charges. You can get swap free account, bro. No, I cannot because most brokers they only allow it for Islamic clients. So obviously, I'm not one of those, but yeah. So I think this is the only application where swap free is allowed. Uh, Other software accounts that are not for Islamic clients, I've noticed that the commissions are too high or there's something like maintenance fees. So I wouldn't recommend those either. Okay, yeah, thanks for your feedback, Nicolin. I'll publish this app, as soon as I can, and hopefully that app will be very useful for you for, some general market analysis. And if you guys have any, requests on how to improve it, I'd be very happy to code it for you. And yeah, so let's hope that this will be, done soon. Okay, so this is our market analysis app on XUSD. And what other things do we have? Maybe the German stock index, right? So stock indices are very correlated, by the way. So investing in, in the US or the EU or Japan have some form of correlation, but still there are some discrepancies, right? So for example, if we check, and maybe what I'm going to do is use two windows, right? And maybe I can show them side by side. Maybe like a comparison analysis. We have DE40 on the left side and US 500 on the right side. So what do we see if we compare those two applications, right? So DE40 is a German stock market index and US 500 is the US one, right? Let's run this again, just to make sure that everything's correct as it should be. So we see that both DE40 and US 500 show, some potential when it comes to returns in November. And July is also very promising, whereas, August is losing and September is especially losing on the US 500. But other than that, it looks, very, correlated and similar. What I can see here in general is that, the starting months from January to June or July, it seems pretty, even distributed, but we see most of the gain, right, or losses in the second half of the year. So this is some behavior that is very interesting, and I think that it offers us with some potential trading opportunities. But yeah, maybe it requires some extra analysis. I think when you propose XUSD, that looked very interesting to me, right? Because we had, some profitable opportunities on XUSD, and this is something that I actually would a bit deeper into, right? And whenever I find any short opportunities, right, because as I mentioned, in my backtester, I haven't implemented the swaps yet. The swaps, they actually play a very big role in the profitability of the strategies. So whenever I see a positive swap, it means that you make money by holding the position. So if you find any short opportunities, and so you will make money by holding position and also on the price change, I think that for me is a setup that I'd be very happy to look for. So now we have XUSD. We still have a bit of time left, so maybe we can have a look at some other symbols as well. So maybe what I'd like to look at is, let's try Brent. Bye, friend. Colleagues are leaving. So, so we have Brent here, and our Brent oil looks something like this. So guys, if you remember, Brent had, when it comes to oil, it can get very volatile. When it comes to, wars or, remember oil prices when COVID hit, right? So here we see, I think this is 2020. So in March, we had a very big drop during COVID. And then we have a big rally in 2020. So yeah, definitely look out for that, because I think there's a lot of risk involved when it comes to holding long-term positions on oil. Uh, and it seems like that oil does not have, these very strong, how would you say, directional preferences during specific months. Maybe what I can see here is that maybe June tends to be a bit more profitable, right? And then maybe October tends to drop a bit more. But I think, that can also be a very like random thing. Or if we ignore 2020, because maybe 2020 was, when it comes to, compared to other years, a very, specific scenario, right, during COVID. Then if we just filter out this year, then overall the price of oil tend to rise, from January to April. So maybe this is something that we could, work on. But other than that, I don't see, much in oil here. So maybe we could try another symbol. I think XTI would, is very correlated with Brent, so I don't think we have to look into that. So what other symbols might be interesting? Maybe some Forex pairs. Crypto, just use Bitcoin. So how about we'll just try some Forex, right? So maybe let's try USD JPY or Euro USD. I'm not sure like if this app would be very useful in Forex. I don't know why. This is just some intuition, but let's try to stay scientific, and there is always something to find, right, for every symbol. So Euro USD tends to rise in December, right? 8 out of 12 months have been profitable in the past 10 years. September, October tend to be losing, and February tends to be, dropping as well. And on the USD JPY, because now it's correlated with the USD, so I assume that it would be very correlated, with this. So when, for example, here it's increasing, then USD JPY is decreasing, right? So there is some correlation going on. So here on the USD JPY, we see a decrease in December, and here in July as well, right? Increase in September and October. So that for me is, for example, very interesting, right? To see these correlations. Of course, you can't like be 100% sure that there's some causality, but we can just look, at some correlation, and maybe, if we look at it deeper or just, test something out, maybe that, could be helpful for further analysis. But yeah, so I'm very glad that we actually managed to code this app today. in front of you guys. So I will try to publish this app, by the end of this week. So because this app is done, I'm going to, add some, graphical, improvements, tidy it up a bit. And oh, sorry, Nicole, you sent a message. What other features can be added to this app? So I think maybe some flexibility, maybe flexible time frames, flexible date times, and maybe overlay some other indicators or some other symbols if we find any correlation with other markets, and maybe analyze the general industry market as a whole, right? So maybe we can have a look at not just in this a single symbol, but a multi symbol analysis to see if we can find something. So I think all of this is possible, but of course, you guys use the app. Let me know how it works. Oh, maybe yeah. And another good feature is maybe add the backtester into our web application, so we can actually do backtests directly in this web application. So you guys don't have to download, or use the backtester in the Jupyter notebook. Me personally, I like working Jupyter, but not everyone, is you know, very proficient in programming. So something, a simple GUI for you guys, I think might be very helpful. So yeah, so guys, again, thank you for watching. You can find the code on, my GitHub. So just click on the description if you need something, and if you, have anything to ask or want to find out, just visit my website atjtraders.com/join, and you'll find everything important, about ATJ Traders and our project. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time, right?